A fatigued and demented Donald Trump just made a disastrous appearance on Capitol Hill. He was there to threaten and coerce MAGA Republican Congress members into voting for the budget bill, which does not have enough support right now to pass in its current form. Donald Trump's appearance on Capitol Hill this morning had the exact opposite effect. More MAGA Republican Congress members say they are not voting for this bill now. There is a faction that says that they want more cuts to Medicaid. There's a faction that says that they need changes to the state and local tax deduction caps that Donald Trump put on a lot of blue states during Trump's first term. And these MAGA Republican Congress members from those states are saying their states are getting screwed. You have other Congress members who are pissed that this is going to add trillions of dollars to the deficit. So Donald Trump was asked by a reporter, hey, in your budget, you cut food assistance programs. How do you justify cutting food assistance programs when one of your central promises to the American people during the campaign is that you were going to make groceries more affordable? Here's what Donald Trump says. Let's play this clip.
You campaigned on lowering the price of groceries. How do you justify cutting food assistance in this bill?
Let me just tell you, the cut is going to give everybody much more food because prices are coming way down. Groceries are down. Eggs. You told me about eggs. You asked me a question about eggs my first week. You said eggs. I said, I just got here. Tell me about eggs. And it was going through the roof. You know that eggs now, way down. Everybody's buying eggs. Groceries down. Energy's down. Gasoline is now they're buying gasoline now for $1.99. If you look back, you'll see $3.50, $4. This country, we're going to lose this country. Our country now is respected all over the world. All over the world we're respected. We were a laughingstock.
So let's be clear. The prices of groceries are going up. Inflation is going up. Donald Trump can lie all he wants and says gas prices are $1.99. They are not. Grocery prices are going up, and Donald Trump is not making more food available. In fact, if anything, his trade war against the world is going to create more scarcity, and it's really harming and screwing over American farmers. Donald Trump next is asked by a Capitol Hill reporter, Jake Sherman, if he just wants these negotiations over the budget bill to be over already. Donald Trump doesn't even realize there are still negotiations taking place and that the House of Representatives has not agreed on complete language for this bill. Here, play this clip.
Do you want the negotiations to be over now?
Which negotiation?
Over this bill.
Oh yeah, well it's going to be. We're going to be putting it in soon, and I think we're going to have great support.
Are you going to
we're going to make a couple of tweaks. I mean, we don't want to benefit Democrat governors, although I would do that if it made it better, but they don't know what they're doing.
So you want
we don't want to do any damage to a state. We want to help all the states, but we have governors that are from the Democrat Party, let's say New York, Illinois, big ones, and let's say Gavin Newsom, who's done a horrible job in California. We want to benefit we want to benefit Republicans because they are the ones that are going to make America great again. The Democrats are destroying our country, and you see that with the past administration, with an open borders policy that allowed 21 million people into our country, and many of those people are stone cold murderers, killers, and trouble. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said there? Which negotiations? The negotiations you're there for. Like literally the negotiations taking place right now over the budget bill, where you have different factions who are not supporting this bill for different reasons. The faction that says that, again, the deficit's going to be too high. The faction that wants to cut more Medicaid. The faction that thinks that the current cap on the state and local tax deductions are not appropriate. Those negotiations, Donald. Then Donald Trump goes on this rant and says we're not doing any cutting on anything meaningful. When we attack Medicaid, it's just going to be fraud, waste, and abuse. Play this clip.
Do you consider some of the proposals on the table, like co-pay provider tax, as a benefit cut? How are you viewing those?
No, we are looking at one thing. We're not doing any cutting of anything meaningful. The only thing we're cutting is waste, fraud, and abuse. With Medicaid, waste, fraud, and abuse. There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. There's incompetent things, buddy. We have illegal aliens that are multiple killers with multiple murder records getting Medicaid. I don't think anybody minds that we cut that. The Democrats, on the other hand, are going to destroy it because they're going to leave these people on. We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare, and we're not changing Social Security. And if I wanted to do those things, I would have done it during my 4 years that we were.
So yes, folks, Donald Trump says he's going to be the one. King Donald will be the one to decide whether you stay on Medicaid or you get cut from Medicaid. And this is at the same time that we learned this morning that now U.S. regulators are saying that annual COVID-19 shots for healthy younger adults and children will no longer be routinely approved. So if you are under, this is what the new guidance is from the Trump regime. If you are under 65 and the Trump regime considers you to be healthy, you can no longer get a COVID shot in the fall under their current plan. They want to spread measles. They want to spread COVID. They don't want to provide FEMA aid to areas that are affected by disasters. Trump's not even mentioning the fact that almost 30 people died this past week from tornadoes and disastrous storms. MAGA is truly a death cult, and now they want to be the ones who decide whether you lose your health care. We know from the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, that at least 14 million Americans are going to lose health care as the plan currently is. And some of the MAGA holdouts want more people to lose their health care and sooner. Donald Trump then starts yelling at a reporter from the news organization Notice. And he goes, "What the hell is Notice? What the hell is NOTUS? What the hell is that?" Here, play this clip.
Andy Harris said that you didn't adequately convince enough people to vote for the bill. The House Freedom Caucus.
You mean after this speech?
After this speech, that's what
Oh,
you
yeah, I think
said.
so. Well, why don't we see how the vote is? I think it was a great talk. It wasn't a speech. We talked about things. Who do you work for?
Notice.
Who?
Notice.
I don't even know what the hell that is. Get yourself a real job. Let me tell you.
Then Donald Trump talks about Democratic Congresswoman McIver, who was recently criminally charged by Donald Trump's weaponized Department of Justice. And and she was there at Delaney Hall conducting congressional oversight in New Jersey at this migrant detention facility. And these ICE agents and private security guards started harassing the Newark mayor and her. And she was there, and they are, as a result, arresting her for it and charging her with serious crimes. Donald Trump claims he doesn't know her, but then starts talking about the days of woke are over. Play this clip.
Weaponizing with the arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman.
Oh, give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control.
Did you address
No,
that?
those days are over.
Did
The
you
days
tell
of
her to do
woke.
that?
The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order.
Mr. President.
And part of Donald Trump's massive fraud, and you see him there kind of surrounded by MAGA Mike Johnson and all these MAGA Republican Congress members. So Trump claims that it's okay that the budget deficit is going to be increased by over $4 trillion. I think it'll be close to $6 trillion guaranteed based on this budget alone. I think more of his actions are going to cause the deficit to hit about 15 or $20 trillion. By the way, that's why you have Moody's, the credit agency, which has been around since 1917, downgraded America's credit score for the first time. But I just want you to be very aware of what Trump's fraud is here and part of what this Middle East scam is all about. Trump claims that he brought in $7 trillion from his Middle East trip. He first says $5 trillion, then he increases it by $2 trillion to $7 trillion. Those numbers are bigger than what the projections are for the deficit. So he goes, we've actually made $1 trillion. Folks, we have not brought in $7 trillion from the Middle East. A country like Qatar doesn't make more than $200 billion a year annually in its GDP. It's all fake. It's all fraud. But Trump is a felon. He is a criminal. He's a sexual abuser, and he's behaving like that. He's behaving like a felon. He's a fraud. This is what frauds do. This shouldn't surprise us. The fraud is acting like a fraud. The felon is behaving like a felon. Here, play this clip.
they respect our country again. They were going to go to China. China was going to take over those countries 100%. They were dealing with China because they weren't treated right by the last administration. And they have tremendous economic power. They have more money than anybody. We probably have more money, but we have other things that they are very cash rich, to put it mildly. And they're spending 5.1 trillion. Probably it's going to be 7 trillion by the time we stop. And, somebody said every other president goes and leaves and spends money, gives other countries money. I'm the only one that goes and takes money back. When you think of it, I said, that's an interesting statement. I never thought of it that way. But we have this is really just a pep talk. We have a very unified House and we have a very unified Senate.
So next, Donald Trump attacks SALT, the state and local tax cap that Trump put on in his first administration, which has been very damaging to blue states. And a lot of MAGA Republican Congress members ran campaigns in their districts that they were going to either significantly raise this cap to an area where you can take significant deductions or not limit the deductions that you can take from state and local taxes. Donald Trump then continues to attack blue states and Democratic governors. And as you heard earlier, his whole thing is that why are we giving any money in our budget to blue states? Play this clip.
President, what's your message to your fellow New Yorker Republicans who are hung up on the SALT issue?
Well, SALT is a very interesting thing because the governors of New York and Illinois, the big JB who's going nowhere. Probably right now he could be the worst governor in the country. But Illinois and Gavin Newsom, those are the people that want this. And they're Democrat states. They're all Democrat states. Ronald Reagan tried very hard to get this passed, was unable to do it the way we have it, where basically everybody's treated equally. He tried it so hard and he never got it done. He was always disappointed. He never got it done. We got it done. Now people want to change it. So we're going to be talking about that. But the biggest beneficiary, if we do that, are governors from New York, Illinois, and California. And those governors are the ones that blew it because they weren't able to get it. So I think we're going to be explaining that. These are all very blue states that I don't really believe. If we had honest elections, I don't actually believe. I think I would have won California. I would have won New York. I even think I would have won Illinois. I think we have to, we're going to start this after. I was talking to Mike, and again, I'm his biggest fan. I love this guy. He's the only guy could have walked in with a 1. Think of it. You can't be a guy like me and have a 1 majority. You have to be a guy like him, a nice person. He's very religious. He prays. He's a man of God. And so am I, but he's really to a new level. I will tell you. He is a great guy. They love him in Louisiana, and they love him that's the only kind of guy. Somebody said, oh, well, we want somebody that, if you put a certain personality in there, you would have never, look at what he got passed, what he's gotten passed. And just so you understand, he's getting this passed too. And I don't think there's anybody I could give you guys that is so tough. You guys would run if you ever looked at him. If you ever saw some of these guys, you would not ask him questions you'd be afraid to. This guy did something that I don't think there's anybody that's more well-suited to be a Speaker of the House, especially in a case like this. Remember,
and I want to be very clear here. Blue states like California, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, and others are donor states. They're subsidizing the red states, which are failed states. They are taker states, the red states. So these MAGA Republicans in red states and Trump, these bankrupt people with bankrupt states, which would be bankrupt without the donor states, are out there trying to inflict punitive measures against the donor states. I mean, that just so shows you their sociopathy, but it's very similar to failed countries like North Korea, Argentina, look who they like. El Salvador, Hungary, Putin's Russia. That's who they like. Then Donald Trump talks about, what does he say? We're going to get into very much, remember what I said, the auto pen. He starts spreading these weird conspiracies that an auto pen signed everything for former President Biden. The auto pen did it. Here, play this clip.
For 6 months. And that was a very frightening thing, because the Democrats have really hurt our country. And we are going to go into very much so. Remember what I said, the auto pay. This government was illegally run for 4 years. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, should the DOJ be charging a member of Congress?
Weren't sure we would get comments, but
Then Donald Trump claims that he's a fiscal hawk. There's nobody more fiscal hawky than me. And then he attacks MAGA Republican Thomas Massie. Let's play this clip.
What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay this? What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay this?
I'm a fiscal hawk.
They don't think this is enough spending.
I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a
Thomas
fiscal
Massie
hawk.
said that that is more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden level
No, I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some too. Go ahead.
Here is MAGA Republican Congressmember Lawler following the meeting.
This morning, let New York Republican Congressman Mike Lawler make his own stance known, as he did right after that meeting. Watch.
I made very clear when I ran for office back in 22 that I would never support a tax bill that does not adequately lift the cap on salt. As it stands right now, I do not support the bill. Look, the president understands obviously how important these issues are. Obviously, it's imperative that we get a deal done and get a bill passed. And so I'm going to continue to negotiate in good faith.
And then MAGA Mike Johnson refused to take any questions at all following the meeting with Donald Trump. He goes, I'm not going to take questions at all. Here, play this clip.
To deliver, and that's what you'll see this House do this week. Now, we're not going to take a lot of questions this morning because we've already done a ton of media with you in the halls. The president gave you a lot. We gave you a lot. What we're leaving to do right now is gather up the small subgroups in the House Republican Conference and tie up the remaining loose ends. I'm very confident that we'll be able to do that. There's a great esprit de corps in the room this morning because everybody knows what's at stake. All the things we've talked about here this morning, we are going to get this done. So this is a rare thing. I'm going to say, hold the questions and let me go get back to work so we can finish this thing up. Okay? Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for being here this morning. Okay.
you can take the question. No, I'm good.
Now, one of the things we know as well is that they're trying to hold a meeting 1 a.m. Wednesday to try to finalize this bill, like literally in the middle of the night, hoping that Americans don't pay attention to it. Democrats have called them out. You're saying you're doing a 1 a.m. meeting. What the hell are you doing? And a lot of other MAGA Republicans, though, are saying that they don't think there's going to be a bill ready to go now before Memorial Day, which is what MAGA Mike promised, and that Donald Trump showing up actually backfired on Capitol Hill and made things worse. Let me know what you think, but we'll keep you posted here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.